Hey y'all, this is Allison hanging out in my space to craft. Now that I have created this second base page, I'm going to turn it into a 2-page layout, and this right-hand page is going to meet the requirements for 3 prompts, 3 pages over on Ginger's Corner. She posts every Saturday a new prompt, not every Saturday, but the first 3 Saturdays of every month, there are 3 new prompts to encourage you and challenge you to create a page using those prompts. So, one of this 2-page layout is going to meet those requirements. And this week's prompt was to use 49 and mark it, which I have, and to use 3 2x3 photos, and that's what I have on one of the pages. On the other page I have a 4x6 and a 2x3. So 2 photos on the left side and 3 photos on the right side. I'm using this dark, it's a really dark teal, deep teal colored paper. It's actually, that paper is from Creative Memories. And the back side I decided I liked as well with the brown, so I'm going to do some of the photos in that. I could have done them all in the dark, but I decided there's so many colors on this 49 and Market papers that I may as well add more. And if you remember, I'm using a vintage photo for my ink, and I will ink all of these, even though that ink's not really going to necessarily show up on these dark papers, but I'm okay with it. So I've got 3 photos to go over here, and I do mess around and play around with the layout a little bit. I definitely need journaling on here. The 3rd prompt for Ginger's Corner is to use song lyrics in your journaling. This is going in my daughter's album, so I'm not going to include the journaling here. I want my daughter to do that, but I did look up some song lyrics about adventure to go with this page, and there were quite a few. But I want to leave that up to her, because I want her to tell her stories. So I also have these 49 and Market tickets. I got them in a 49 and Market mystery box. If you've never ordered one of those, they're pretty fabulous. And they are the perfect color to go with this collection. And this is the Wherever collection. And these were the only 2 pieces of paper I had from the collection. So that's why I'm using other papers to map the photos and stuff like that. I did remove all the white from the photos. And now I'm just inking all the different piece parts before I start committing things. I also pulled out a few other pieces of ephemera. Some are from My Mind's Eye, a travel collection on My Mind's Eye. And I do struggle a little bit here. I want some of that inking to show that I put on the page. And of course I did that before I had laid out the photos. That gives me a few little struggles, but that's okay. It's like working with a printed paper. And here I'm trying to decide where I want other pieces. I still have a title to add on here. I will get to that, I promise. I'm definitely going to make use of that little scrolly frame on the left-hand page for the big photo. This was our family group when we rented ATVs and drove out into the hills in Sedona for a little off-road adventuring. Everyone took turns driving. The pictures I have are of my daughter driving. Now, I had said that I had this to add as a another layer for mixed media, these rub-ons, but I wanted to wait until I had the photos because I want it to peek out from behind the photos and stuff like that. So now I'm just putting a little bit of adhesive on these. I'm not committing them to permanent because I'm not sure exactly where they're going to go, but it's going to help me figure out where to put that rub-on. And these rub-on are 49 in market as well. So I'm using lots of 49 in market. Now these, My Mind's Eye, the sticky came off them. And so I'm struggling a little bit. I'm probably going to have to go back in and use liquid glue on these. But I was nervous to use liquid glue because I didn't have things in a final state. So here I'm adding those. And I decided just to use one of the colors of these rub-ons. But again, that's adding another texture and something else that is similar on both sides of the layout. So I have this over here. I'm going to add a little bit. And I'm not being too precious about it. I'm just adding these. They are pretty solid in the middle, but so now there's lots more elements that are similar. And I'm going to go ahead and commit to these photos where I have them. I'm having to add this double-sided adhesive tape to this because my little roller wasn't working. And just tucking in that ticket. And you can see I'm struggling a little bit because I want some of that inking to show on the other side of this journal tag. All right, so I start to do the alphas and then I realize I don't have all the right letters for what I wanted to do there. So I'm going to sort of change direction just a little, and I'm going to write off-road, and I'm going to use these brown letters for the off. And right now I can't decide where I want to put them. So I'm going to write off-road, and I do have enough of these letters. I was out of O's for some reason on these letters. That's my last O. So off-road. And then over on the other side, I'm going to write on brand. And that is because when my daughter posted about this day, off-roading, that's what she wrote on her Instagram or TikTok. So I thought, well, I'll do the same. I'm not liking it vertical there, so I'm going to have to do it horizontal, and that means I'm going to move things around a bit. What I probably should have done is lowered the bottom photos, but that's okay. So you can see things look too crunched up and that title is extending out. So I'm going to move things around. And then this is the one that I'm having trouble with. So I'm just going to move everything around a bit so that the title is not quite as protruding, if you will. So just still shifting things around, trying to make things look balanced. And I realized I had alternated up down on the other one. So just still playing around a bit, and I'm happier with that. And then I have this strip of green paper that I want to use. So I'm just going to create some extra strips, ink them, and add them in a couple of places. So again, just trying to make it look a little more collagey, a little more layered. Just trying to decide where I want to put these. So a couple of those strips, and I think, and now I'm using some, another one of those yellow ticket items. And then I decide, nope, we're going to move that whole thing up because it was feeling a little claustrophobic there. And there, I remembered I had some stickers from Creative Memories that I wanted to try and get on this page. So I'm going to add some of those. And I'm just looking for the ones that have similar color elements. Now there's some white on these, so I'm just inking on them to make it cream instead of white. And that seems to be working. And then I also like adding those circular elements to the page rather than everything being rectangles. And here's where I decide I'm moving everything over a bit because now that circle was extending way out. But you can see it's looking more balanced. Did the page come out absolutely perfect? No, but am I happy with it? Yes. And did I go out of my comfort zone using rub-ons and lots of ink and splotches and stuff like that? Yes. And now I'm even adding some washi tape that was green and I thought coordinated. So I'm just adding a few bits of washi tape here and there to the page. So I'm kind of happy with that. Adding some finishing touches. I don't use washi tape very often. And I have these, they're $49 in Market, and some have little hearts in them, some have words in them. So I'm using those as my enamel dots. And putting some in the little, I guess, the little brad locations on those circular stickers. So just pulling the colors from this sheet that coordinate with this page. It's got some browns and some burgundies and things like that. And we are very close to finished. I'm just going to add some gold distress spritz to it. Again, another element to tie the two pages together. Just a few little sprinkles where I have ephemera, and we're good to go. So let's do some close-ups, and please give this video a thumbs up. please go over to Ginger's Corner and check out the 3 prompts, 3 pages hop that we are doing each Saturday, the first 3 Saturdays of every month. And try your hand at some mixed media. All right, see you guys soon back in My Space to Craft.